Hey, this is John again. John Asch Contracting, third generation residential roofing company since 1955. Today we're talking about vents. There's many different kinds of vents. It seems two different kinds of vents are the most popular for residential homes. Over here you see one vent on top of my shed. Over here you got two more vents on top of the wood building. If you follow me while you're sitting in your chair, over yonder, you can see four more vents. I'm sorry, I can't count. Three more vents up there on top of the second story carport. If you then look over here, you'll see vents again on the back of the garage. And then follow me down this way. These, by the way, are all called static vents or just square vents. We call them static vents. There's also something else called ridge vents, which we'll discuss in a few minutes. And you see here on the back of the house, you don't see any vents, but they are there on the other side of the ridge. There's more vents over there. And I'm too old to walk that far, so you have to just believe me, they're there. They come this way. Nowadays, most homeowners ask for ridge vents. And I'm against ridge vents. I'm more for static vents. And again, this is somewhat of an opinion. Over there, you might be able to see the sandbox. And I wanted to put a vent there, but my girlfriend, Cindy, wouldn't let me, so no vent on the sandbox. But let's continue our conversation. Ridge vents do a wonderful job of ventilating. Maybe, let's call it 100%. And these individual square static vents, let's say they vent maybe 60% as good as a ridge vent. So it sounds like ridge vents are better. The problem with the ridge vents, because we've been in business for 3 generations since 1955, is we get hundreds of leaky vents over the decades. People have vents installed. The ridge vents are 95% of the time what is leaking. Although it happens on a rare occasion, but it's almost never the square static vents that leak. Now, why other roofers install the ridge vents is because they don't guarantee material. They warranty the material. It's not a guarantee. So now if the ridge vent should leak, they're not really legally responsible to stop the leak. They might not, because they never guaranteed to begin with. They may guarantee their labor, but they don't guarantee the material, whether it be shingles, underlayment, vents, whatever. Because our company, or I should say my company, does give a 20-year guarantee in writing, can't think of the word, non-prorated, fully transferable to the next homeowners. When we give a 20-year guarantee, it really means something other than a warranty by other roofers, which is pretty much meaningless. So we're guaranteeing our vents not to leak for 20 years. Nobody else is doing that. So therefore, we want to install a vent where I'm not cutting my own throat and it's leaking. Ridge vent leak by the hundreds. We fix them all the time. We love ridge vents, because we make a nice profit fixing them. I just don't love them on my house. I don't want them to leak. Now, when I say they leak, a lot of people out there are shaking their heads. Mine don't leak, and that's wonderful. I'm talking about once every couple of years, that kind of a leak. When you have a really, really bad rainstorm, the kind of a rainstorm where in your car you got to pull over because your windshield wipers won't go fast enough, that kind of a rain. Coupled with some high winds, the water blows right into the ridge vent and into your attic area. Now, if that doesn't bother you, put up a ridge vent, because they do ventilate a bit better. But most people would rather have a bit less ventilation and have it never leak. And that's why we go with the square static vents. And it has a lot to do with the fact that we give you a guarantee, which other roofers do not. This is getting a long-winded video, so I'm going to shut up. If you have your questions or or would like to argue with me, give me a call to the office and we can argue about it. Have a nice day.